All right, thank you, councillors. Thank you, community. All right, we're moving through the business paper. We're moving on to 7.1, council meeting held on the 20th of February, minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Davis. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Hopkins.
You have errors?
Councillor Davis.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
There are many errors in these minutes that we need to correct.
Okay.
And so I was going to move, we actually have the council minutes included in our business papers. So that one of the problems we have is that the business papers come, but there's no, the minutes aren't there. It's hard to chase them up. So I made this suggestion before, but I move it today that we actually have the council minutes included as part of our business papers.
Councillor Davis, do you want to add that to your thing? The printed copies?
So I'd like to ask a question of the CEO. Since last term of council, the standard for actually delivering business paper is electronically. We've always had access to our minutes electronically. I do not get a written business paper. I only take an electronic business paper and I have the minutes in front of me. Everybody has a device given to them by council. So it hasn't been standard practice. Is that a change of practice and how much time and cost would that actually undertake?
Look, to put the minutes in there, it's not through you, Mr. Mayor, sorry, that it's not a huge ask of the staff to add the minutes to the business paper. I mean, that can happen. It's not standard practice. And standard practice from my experience, councils that I've worked at over many years, that the minutes are not produced. They're listed there for noting, for endorsing, adopting, because they have been provided electronically. These days that is standard practice, but it's totally up to the council. If they wanted to pass a motion that they be included, then staff could do it and would do it.
I think that the difficulty we have, Mr. Mayor, is that they're in a separate document, and so you've got to look back to that document to go to that. Then you've got to look through all the material on the big tin can. Whereas if they just came electronically, there's 20 odd pages. But if I hadn't have done this, I discovered the minutes are riddled with errors, and so we've got basically a lot of items we've included that weren't in the minutes because we actually removed those motions. There's a range of things that have not been right. I can give you the details here.
Can you just give me one where it's wrong so I can just...
Yeah, so on page 21, part 2, councillors Rose and Williamson both indicated to the interim CEO that they would withdraw their motions, and they had proposed that because of the absence of councillors Rooney and Williamson, this was indicated at the start of the meeting, and there was a vote taken about this which was carried, but it's not in the minutes. Staff to review the recording and insert the motion and voting. So I think that's one thing.
Sorry, slow.
So subsequently, Councillor Fowler also postponed his motion.
No, sorry, just to clarify, Councillor Fowler withdrew his motion. Councillor Williamson deferred his motion.
Right.
So I did, yes, get a vote for the deferral of the motion.
Right.
But Councillor Thaler, we did not vote on because he actually requested a withdrawal of the motion and he resubmitted his motions for this council meeting.
I actually was deferring them.
But you said withdraw.
You said withdraw.
So that's why I didn't vote.
Right. But
so there was two different words there.
So I think, but in any case, we need to remove items 11.3 up to 11.13. There's also no recording of outcomes from motions 11.14 about the Cooma Master Plan.
Well,
slow down.
Trouble.
And 11.15 Lake Williams.
So, sorry, 11, what motion did you say? 11 what, sorry?
So 11, so there was no recording of the outcomes from motions 11.14 about the Cooma Master Plan. And my memory might be incorrect, but I'm sure that we discussed that. And that was passed. And then we've also got 11.15 Lake Williams. I'm sure that we made a decision about that as well. And then also 11.17, as I recall, Councillor Elliott withdrew his motion because he had an assurance from the CEO. So,
well, with all due respect, Councillor Rose, that's what's written in the minutes.
Not the ones that I've got that I printed out. So I printed out.
For example, 11.17, motion withdrawn. Councillor Nick Elliott's motion withdrawn.
So 11.21. So on page 21 of my minutes that I printed out,
Oh, sorry. I think, hang on. Sorry. Let me just, hang on. So page 21
Yes.
of the minutes. Let me just get to that page. So I'm not, so we're all on the same pages. I'm a bit confused on what you're trying to say. I'm on page 21 now.
Yes.
Okay. So at the top of page 21,
Yes.
I resumed the meeting at 10 a.m. You saw that?
So page 21.
Page 21.
I've got here.
It says part 2, Monday the 3rd of March, 2025, 10 a.m.
Okay, my minutes that I printed out just a few days ago is at the bottom of page 21. Ordinary council meeting via audio visual link part 2, 10 a.m. So perhaps this has been updated since I printed it out.
No, this is...
So page 31 has the resolution of the master plan.
No, 21.
21.
Yes, but 31 has the resolution of the master plan that council represents.
I'm just a bit confused. Sorry. Because what I'm seeing and what you're saying is two different things. Sorry. I just want to clarify what we should be looking at here.
Because I printed this out probably 2 or 3 days ago when I got the...
Page 21.
What are we on?
The minutes of the meeting. I'm concerned.
And what it seems to be is that the number of in my minutes, all the motions that we withdrew are still included in the paper. So
Yeah. Where did you print that from, Council Rose?
I printed it from the council website. So do you think I've got a different?
Completely different to what I've got.
I printed it from the big tin can. No,
No, you didn't print.
I can't print from the big tin can here. So I printed it from the council website. I went on the council website and got those minutes.
I'm looking at the council website one now.
That's where I read them too.
But Mr. Mayor, whatever the story is, it sort of confirms my idea that we should have the actual minutes improved in our business papers, because I think there's obviously different versions of the truth out there. So it just seems good that we should all be able to refer to it.
Do you think that
So on the website that I've just opened up and I've just gone into the unconfirmed minutes
Yes.
is exactly what is on the big tin can. So if I open the minutes up, I go to page 21 and it's exactly what's on the big tin cans. I don't know where that's come from. I believe that you've printed it. It's there. But it's,
I was
just
too
can't
busy
work
to
it
type
out.
it all up again, so and make it inaccurate. So, but does it look accurate to you that on the website? Does it?
Yeah,
So,
I've just gone to the website
Yes.
and page 21. It says that the meeting on the 3rd of March, part
Yes.
2, was resumed at 10 a.m. But on
Okay.
yours it doesn't.
right. And does it have?
I've just got to work out why that's happened.
And does it have the motions removed that were there to say that because we had a voting on that?
It states
Page 22 does.
that leave that council approved the note. That council approved the third motions submitted by Councillor Williamson, and that was voted on. That was 43-25. And then yours was voted on. That was on 44 of 25. So that is there.
So in the motion in the material I have, all those motions that were taken away were still in the paper.
Yes, they will still be in the paper as deferred. So we still have to list them, each
Right.
motion, but
Right.
they're deferred. So it clearly says in there deferred.
Right.
I can show you later if we're in the meeting.
If you're-
But these there.
If you're happy that they are, but
Yeah.
but
I do agree. I don't know why yours is like that.
Right.
So we will chase. I want to get some
it says here?
information.
Nothing there.
Yeah.
can I move that we include the minutes?
Sorry, Councillor.
Can I move that we include the minutes of the previous council, the minutes of the previous council meeting in our next business papers, so that they're in the papers?
Clarify that set of minutes is the set of minutes from the first part of the meeting, which we put on the website. So it's been printed off before we've updated with part 2.
Okay. I see what's
So
happening.
that is the older version that we put up as an interim.
Yeah, so it's a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Councillor, are you happy just to do that?
There's
been something wrong here.
just step down.
I just.
It never comes
Oh,
back.
it is.
It's been by any response.
Are you happy to add that to the motion to just get it in there? Yeah, look, yeah, sorry, councillors. Yeah, we've got to move forward. Councillors, just like to use this now. It's great. Councillor Davis is happy to add that to the motion for minutes moving forward to be added to the printed copies of your business paper.
Just the ordinary business papers.
Yes, yes, that's what I mean, to your business paper, yes.
Yes.
Before part two was that. Yeah, we got to the bottom of that.
Yes, Councillor Hopkins was a seconder, but we're changing it and we're adding. So moving forward, you will print.
It's always been the print papers.
Stop off.
We did get to the bottom.
Wait, okay, good. Thank you.
He printed it.
After, yeah, that's fine. Want to get this in the business paper?
May I ask a question?
Yes.
We have previously had discussions about reducing the length and volume of our business papers. So I'm a little bit surprised that we're now choosing to make them longer. And I was just wondering if there was any logic to that.
Because Councillor Rose requested it and Councillor Davis accepted it and I'm just moving forward.
Sure.
I agree, but that's what it is. Councillor Davis, would you like to talk? No. Anyone like to talk against? No. With that, I put the motion. All those in favour? Councillor Stewart, Councillor Rose, Councillor Elliott, Councillor Rooney, Councillor Hopkins, Councillor Thaler, Councillor Davis and Councillor Hannah. All those against? Did you vote?
Just not voting.
So you're against. Everybody except Councillor Williamson. Moving on to 7.2, closed session of the 20th of February. Do I have a mover? Councillor Davis, seconder. Councillor Thaler, debate. Councillor Davis? No debate. Anyone against?
No.
Are you okay, Trish? You good? All those in favour? So Councillor Davis and Councillor Thaler? You're right. And then, sorry, councillors, hands up. And it's unanimous. All right. Yes, we know that. She just left the room. Trish, did you get that Councillor Higgins has left the room? No. She's not. She hasn't been for the last two motions. Moving on to 9.1. 9.1.1. Do I have a mover?
We don't accept.
No, Councillor Thaler said no acceptance.
Council fail.
Moved. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Thaler. Councillor Davis, would you like to talk on the motion?
No, it was well described.
Thank you. So I'll just get up to speed. We're on 9.1.1.
I'll have to give you a lesson in the process of council fail.
Thank you, Councillor Stewart.
Jesus, bloody cool.
Do we have?
Yeah, so there was Councillor Davis was the mover and Councillor Thaler was a seconder. They're getting along. Yeah, anyone like to talk against the motion? We're on 9.1.1, page 4. No one against. I put the motion. All those in favour? Councillor Stewart, Councillor Williamson, Councillor unanimous. Oh, sorry, Councillor unanimous, and Councillor Higgins is back. Moving on. Sorry, I can't. Slow down. I'll slow down. Yeah, no, that's okay. We're on 9.1.2.
9.1.2.
9.1.2.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, going on to 9.1.2. Move, do I have it, Councillor Davis, Councillor Thaler second.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I've got a question that came from community members, which was this: why was the bridge not built on the upside of the existing bridge, which would have improved the access and alignment and stopped and countered the need for acquisition of land? Was the question.
Thank you. I'll refer that to Mr. Gargett, or through the CEO too.
I don't have that information through Mr. Mayor at the moment for that. I can get that, but I don't have that information.
Mr. Gargett, thank you. Mr. Mayor, if I could ask through you to see if Mr. Gargett could brief us about the reason for that. That seemed a pretty good question, and so because
I can take that on notice and come back to you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Yes.
Yes.
So I've been asked the same question as Councillor Rose, because it would seem to be a cheaper and more practical solution. But my question here is that given that we accepted a grant in 2022, I think, must have been, is that what resolution 363/22 means?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, 2025, is our construction cost the same? Is our cost the same to go ahead with this? Is it fully funded by the grant?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, it would be fully funded through the grant. Cost-wise, when would have been an estimate, I would have said at the original stage, but now, yes, the cost may have gone up. I would have to check that from that original to today.
So was the grant equal to the cost in 2022? Or is the grant
Would have been
bigger than the cost in 2022?
It would have been an estimate at the time until we went out for actually the costing of the work.
Yeah, I'm trying to ascertain if we have a gap in our funding
We've got
now.
enough
No.
money.
No,
We don't. So the grant was bigger than what we thought it was going to cost, because the cost will have gone up, right?
the pool of money that council was granted
Yes.
is across a lot of the bridges, so we're able to move money around to cover that. And if we need to get a difference in that, we're able to make an application for that to change that around.
Okay. Sorry, and what would be the implication if we delayed this motion to get an answer on the alignment question? Because then we could avoid the issue of actually needing to acquire the property at all. So if we could get that answer and bring it back next month, wouldn't that be prudent?
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I have a feeling this bridge is already done.
What
Is
is
that?
that? 1.1.
Yeah,
The bridge has been built.
Yeah, I'm just a bit confused on,
What are we-
it's not.
Sorry?
Yeah, so the bridge has been built. I
Yeah.
think the issue is now after there seems to be the wrong story where we've got, land acquisition after the event. I think the assessment that I've had is that if we'd done this a different way and built it upstream, we wouldn't have had to make the land acquisition, which we're having to do now. So it seems to be a bit of the wrong way around. But anyway, that's where we are.
What if the
Yes.
land acquisition doesn't get approved?
The bridge has
A
been
question to Mr.
Is it
Garvey.
9.11?
two,
Sorry,
page 8.
I didn't realise we'd built the bridge already. Wouldn't you get the land before you build the bridge?
We didn't do that at admittedly.
Has it been built?
I will get that information for you. Hang on a second.
Right, we'll continue on. Anyone like to talk against?
It's just on
Sorry,
It is.
Sorry,
Point of order, we can't move on if we don't know whether
We
the
get,
bridge is built.
sorry, so Councillor Thaler, I understand that, but I'm not going to put the motion until we get that answered. But if there's other people who want to talk,
that's like coming quickly, is it?
yes, he's typing up now. He's doing that literally right now.
I think a lot of the debate turns on whether the bridge is there or not, so.
Clearly.
Can we come back to this item?
Not really. I can,
process, isn't it?
Come on, Bob, you're the local, please.
Isn't this just a normal
It is.
process? I built,
Yeah, but is the
I
bridge
built
there?
a bridge and you have to get a bit of land.
Yeah, the locals are saying.
That they built the bridge.
Bridge a bit further up and you don't require land.
Oh, okay.
And now we're trying to find out if they've built the bridge or not. Why would you build a bridge? Oh, you require land. Just seems.
Oh, that's.
Murphy's Cross.
I don't know, anyway.
I'll have to look at it then. Okay,
Yeah, Ronaldo.
built.
It's built.
Built.
It's built.
Okay.
All right.
Is
Thank you.
that not, sorry, just to ask another question, but I thought it might answer their questions. In the background, it mentions that the construct a new bridge nominal 10 metres downstream from the current structure, allowing the existing bridge to be utilised as a bypass during the construction phase and to improve the approach to the bridges. Is that not the logic?
It says
That
the
was on
solution
page
adopted.
10.
So yeah, it says the solution adopted, but we.
Sorry, councillors.
Does that not answer the question? Anyway, we'll move on.
Anyway, the bridge has been built. For everybody's record, the bridge has been built.
We can't move now.
All right. So we're in debate. Anyone talking against the motion? No one talking against. With that, I put the motion. All those in favour? Councillor Stewart, Councillor Williamson, Councillor Elliott, Councillor Rooney, Councillor Hopkins, Councillor Thaler, Councillor Davis, Councillor Summers, or sorry, Higgins. All those against? Councillor Rose. Moving on to finances 9.2.1. Councillor Davis, moved. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Hopkins. Councillor Davis, did you want to talk on the motion?
No, speaks for itself.
Do I have anyone speaking against the recommendation? No one speaking against. With that, I put the motion. All those in favour? Councillor Stewart.
These are out by exception.
Yes, once a councillor just to rephrase, yes, that was, but Councillor Thaler said no exception. So hands up, please, councillors. Unanimous. Thank you.
Can I move the next motion?
You get each point. What are we at? 9.3, 9.3.1. Councillor Thaler, you're moving the motion. Do I have a seconder? Councillor David.
Sorry, what is the matter?
Sorry, it's page 21, the update of the financial sustainability review at 9.3.1.
Thank you.
Hang on, sorry. Well,
You want to reject it?
are you on page? Councillor Rose, you're on?
Yes,
You good? Excellent. Councillor Thaler, 5 minutes.
Thank you. I will use all of them.
Okay.
Update on financial sustainability review actions. I've got some problems with the narrative here, the issues. Paragraph 2, progress on achieving the recommended actions has slowed considerably over the last 6 months. This has been due to slow responses for requests of information, impacts of the resignation of the CEO and diversion of resources due to councillor behaviour since the elections. It's an interesting statement. It seems that everybody's been busy writing codes of conduct and not tending their mind to financial sustainability concerns. I'd like...
Point of order.
Point of order, yes. Councillor.
It's not appropriate for a councillor to actually be demeaning the staff in the way he is. It is off the recommendation in the motion. So keep to the subject, don't talk about the staff.
Yes. Councillor Thaler, stick to the motion. There's nothing in there that talks about code of conduct.
And there was nothing in my language that said the word staff. So I think I was referring to councillors. The resignation of the CEO led to the Chief Strategy Officer being diverted from his role into the acting role for a period and in supporting the interim CEO. This diverted resources away from directing the towards excellence stops. I don't know if there's meant to be more after that. That paragraph kind of stops. But these things happen, but it's also symptomatic of the underlying problem. We're not really going towards sustainability. I've made a joke in the early term that there's a long straight, the Conrod Straits ahead of us, and we're still up in the S's. So we're towards excellence, but it keeps getting further away from us. I think sometimes we're in reverse gear. So it goes on again that additional council meetings being called by councillors and councillors seeking to add new matters into the workload of the council. It's a slur, I think, upon councillors from staff who authored this result. The problem is, if we were given information in a simple and quick manner when we ask it, and in my particular experience, I ask information and I want that to be provided to everybody for the purposes of debate, informed debate, comply with the legislation, and we get told if it's not a matter before council, you can't have it. So then we bring it formally to council via a motion. So we've been forced to use a process that I don't believe we should be. We've lost collegiality as a group. We're under tight watch from the minister and the media. The opportunity is to put the swords down, as it were, and work together. But that's not just councillors, that's also with the executive table. If we want information, there's a reason people are lobbying from the community. You've seen the angst that we put the Badrock family through. This could have all been solved by the council in the last term, but it wasn't. And we're doing it now. So that is a massive impact on the towards sustainability budget because we are distracted. We're putting out fires. So when the staff try to throw the lack of progress on the towards sustainability on the councillors, blame the new councillors because there's too many motions, blame the new councillors because there's too many debates and debate takes too long. It's a dance. I'm pretty good. I got a medal for dancing when I was a young bloke. So
Give us a bloody dance.
the issue is let's talk about the towards sustainability. We haven't even been briefed on it. I got a bit of an idea, but we haven't even been briefed on it. So 6 months into our term, we have to stop this kind of attack each other mentality, the siege mentality. You're not going to get me kicked out. You're not going to break my resolve. You're not going to beat me in a debate. Because I'm going to keep bringing you back to your own words and your own principles, the principles of the people of the snowy Monaro.
I have not said anything. Councillor Saylor.
You've got 30 seconds left.
Let's stop being ridiculous in how we approach this problem. We are a council that does not have a debt, but we have a big debt to the Badrocks. We have a big debt to society and to our community. We have a big debt to each other to get on with the job. So let's have a briefing. Let's put down the swords and let's stop wasting time on codes of conduct and complaints and getting onto media and all this sort of thing, speaking in Parliament to the fountain.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Now, I take it that was actually talking against the motion. You moved it, but you spoke against it. So I'm going to say that was against. Or are you talking for the motion? Was that for or against? Because it was a bit of a hard debate because you're
critical of the lack of progress, but maybe there are some elements of progress. I'm critical of the lack of progress, but
okay, so you're for.
You can call it for.
Excellent. Do I have someone speaking against the motion?
I'd like to speak for the motion
Okay.
because Councillor Saylor did not speak for the motion.
Wait a minute.
He talked.
Sorry, councillors. Thank you, councillors. I can handle it. He spoke, he moved the motion. He was the for. I'm going to go against and I'll come back to you. Do I have someone speaking against the motion? Councillor Williamson.
I'd like to speak against them, but
5 minutes.
I'll do so also by raising an amendment. So I don't think we should only note this report. I think we should take action in response to the report. So if Councillor Thaler would be so kind to consider, I think, point A is that we note it. Point B would be that the councillors receive a comprehensive briefing on the financial sustainability review, its recommendations, and the Towards Excellence program, and that happen in the next month.
Thank you.
Councillor Thaler, are you happy with that added amendment? added to motion? Yes?
I am.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Williams, did you want to talk against, sorry, or were you just
As
amending?
a seconder to have a say.
Not in the code of meeting practice, it's only the mover, but if you would like to withdraw.
I just want to bring up the point that today in the briefing, the CEO offered to put on extra briefings for councillors, and we did not have an agreement in regard.
That's correct. We will skip, sorry, councillor, we didn't make a decision, we did not make a decision. I know what you're about to say. I know you're about to say, councillor, we did not make a decision. The CEO suggested, should he put more briefings on? They couldn't be answered. What we will do is the CEO will put extra briefings on. If councillors don't show up, that's your choice not to show up. But we will put them on at the times that are convenient to this council and the times that we need to get through the IPNR and everything else. We'll add extra briefings, and that is how it's going to be. If councillors don't show up to those briefings, that's your choice. But we will put them on so you guys can fully understand of what is happening. Are you happy with that, councillor?
I think that's what Councillor Rose suggested earlier, to use the scheduler to book some time.
Correct. And then we'll go from there.
Populate it with briefing topics.
Sorry. But we did not make any decisions. Councillor Davis, are you happy?
I'm happy with that.
Okay, do I have someone speaking against the motion? Councillor Rose. No, because Councillor Williamson only did an amendment. He didn't actually talk against the motion.
I said I spoke against it, unless Councillor Taylor accepted my amendment. I haven't heard him accept my amendment.
He did. He accepted it. He did accept it.
Thank you.
So Councillor Rose. 5
Sorry,
minutes.
Mr Mayor, point of procedurally, if Councillor Williamson spoke against, we now need someone speaking for. And
No, he did not talk against the motion. He asked for the amendment of the motion.
Oh, sorry, I did speak against it.
Did you speak
I
against the
speak
motion?
Against the motion, unless Councillor Taylor
I'll
So he-
accepts an
Okay,
amendment.
if you want to take that, then Councillor, that's fine. Councillor Davis, you can talk for the motion.
I speak for the motion.
Right.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor, for offering to stop distracting council and offering that we actually all
Point of
work
order.
together.
point of
I
order.
think-
What's your point?
Point of order.
Councillor,
Crikey.
Councillor, both of you, please. Councillor Taylor, when you call a point of order, I will stop the meeting, not you. All right?
Well, then,
I was, but you then interrupted.
yes,
So what is your point of order?
it's a mischaracterisation of what I said, completely inappropriate. And you can't say that I am responsible for distracting
Didn't say that.
council. She just did.
No, she said, you want to repeat what you said, but that's not what I heard.
I said,
Said,
thank you for the offer
Yes.
to stop distracting councillors.
What she said.
Yes, she didn't say that you.
Clearly she
Said
did.
me.
Anyway, councillor, stick to the motion. Councillor Davis, can you stick to the motion, please? We've only got an hour and 5 minutes left of this meeting, so I want to get through some of it.
The financial sustainability review is a really important document to this council. Yes, I agree, it needs to have a briefing to the councillors. However, the council is working hard to continue with all the elements of 24 recommendations in the review. The staff need the time to focus on the recommendations and put them in place. And if we do not do that, we are breaching the PIO. The PIO is very clear about the fact that we will continue to work towards completing all 24 recommendations that we resolved to do back in 2022. This document is comprehensive. It actually has led us to the point of moving to a sustainable position. And I worry that into the future, we're going to get less grant funding from the federal and state governments. So we need to be in a position where we can provide at least our base services to our community and that we keep our community engaged. It is important that we actually note that the amount of work that the staff need to actually apply to actually undertake this work is comprehensive. And when we distract them with things that aren't normal business, then this work is not being done. So I implore all of us to actually focus on the important things of this council and the financial sustainability review recommendation, and having them completed and keeping them moving forward is really, really important. So I thank the staff for this report. It gives us a really good understanding of the roadblocks that are happening. and what we need to do to assist the staff to actually be able to complete this work and actually engage with the community and with us and with our various other counterparts, state and federal, as to some of the challenges that we're actually having to enact all 24 recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. Does someone speaking against? Councillor Rose.
Mr. Mayor, this report needs to be totally rejected. It's just full of excuses. I've had many calls and emails from people saying, all this report is about is saying excuses for why things aren't being done. Key staff that would have been progressing, blah, 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 the progress the expected made on the blah, blah, blah. And it's just full of excuses. And that's just unacceptable from any senior executive. Now, one of the most important things here is point 2, decrease operating costs. Now, every organisation should be looking at decreasing operating costs. And they picked a pretty small target, $1 million. It should have been 5 million. But anyway, $1 million was picked. And the response is to the decreasing operating costs, the strategies are being implemented with available tools being reviewed and activity costing developed, which will form a baseline for considering how the organisation should operate into the future. The council needs to move to the implementation stage to start to see the benefits. I mean, this is a joke. We need to see a report that indicates if they're going to have serious attempt at looking at decreasing operating costs, we need to see it. So I just don't like this report in general. In terms of point, on page 22 in point D of that particular point, we've got a whole series of consultancies being undertaken. We found out today that it was about 150,000 for those consultancies. We've got on page 23, what's the policies? We've got down in point 4, systems have been developed to align these plans with ongoing work. This is all just verbiage. We're looking for action and we're looking for outcomes. And I think this report just should be sent back and say, give us a proper report showing us some decent outcomes and what's being done, Mr. Mayor. So I can't support it at all. I vote completely against accepting it.
Thank you. Do I have someone speaking for? Anyone else want to talk against? Councillor Stewart.
Yeah, I want to talk just on the sustainability review and the Towards Excellence program, I believe, is putting a noose around our council's neck. I think we've got to review it all, and I think we've got to head down the path of what Councillor Rose has said and try to get some practical stuff. I know we're in the PI, we've got to handle it very carefully, you know, and I think that was very good advice. But in all honesty, look at what's happened with the sustainability. Where have we got? What have we achieved with it? You tell me. Over the last 4 years or 5 years since it's come in, very little. Towards Excellence. If you can tell me how much we've spent on Towards Excellence and what the results are, I think we've really got to, and I'm not being critical of staff or anything. That's one thing I don't want to be. But I think Councillor Rose has come in here with different views of how this organisation's going to try to deliver better results out to the community. And we should be looking at that sort of stuff. Because where we're going backwards. That financial sustainability study was just done by a local government person that I could have wrote it. You know, local government needs more money, you've got to be more efficient. The key to this is saying, how are we going to be more efficient? How do we work these things? So a little bit of tweak away from that, I think, will do this organisation and the world a good. And the same with the Towards Excellence. I don't know what it is. Has anybody can tell me what Towards Excellence is? How much have we spent on it? How much each year are we spending on it? Where's the result? I think it's very little. I can't see a lot of improvement. So I do think we shouldn't put our heads in the sand over this, and we have to be bold enough as to say, as what we've done today with the Micalago turnout, we made a mistake, we got to fix it. the same as this sustainability review and the towards excellence. I don't think they've been successful for this council, in my view. I've got to be honest with it, and I've been involved with it all the time. I haven't seen any startling results come out of it. And so I think if we can get a bit of a different, in a gradual turn, I just note this report, but I think we've got, if we're going to be smart, we've got to look at changes and do what we think is going to be better out there, and not take just because we got a study done by a university to say, oh, this was wrong. And then we have advice to say we go down towards excellence. But well, we've been going down there, and I think we're going backwards. So I think we want a fresh view. Wouldn't hurt to look at. So don't put our head in the sand. But we can have that in the background. And I know we've got this PIO on us, but if we can make decisions that is going to give our community better results, we should be doing that. That's what we should be doing. And if that doesn't meet the sustainability review, so be it. We're here for the community. So just think of that. So don't put our head in the sand and go one way or agree.
Councillor Stewart, Mr. Mayor, if I could ask Councillor Stewart a question.
Yeah, sure.
So we have a motion in front of us, which is to note a report and to request a briefing. Is there something you would suggest we add to that motion?
Look, I haven't got the solution for you.
Sure. No.
I'll tell you that now. But I can tell you from where I'm sitting and from where I'm coming from, the sustainability review or towards excellence program hasn't delivered as much outcome in my view. If you can tell me, I might be wrong, but tell me what it's done to us. Tell me where we're giving better service to our community. Tell me with the towards excellence, where are we getting with it? How much is it towards excellence?
Yeah, I agree, and that will come in the briefing, and so we can actually look at all that.
So look, we can note the officers, but I also think we should don't put our head in the sand against a council that's coming in here looking at through fresh eyes. We should appreciate that if we can turn around, if we can get something better, go down that path, we should be looking at.
And that will happen in the briefing. Thank you. Does someone speaking for? No, Councillor Thaler, would you like a right of reply?
Yes, thank you. One of the sustainability objectives might be to do less, tell less lies, clean up the asbestos.
Point of order. Point of order.
So yes, Councillor.
Councillor Saylor continues to disparage and impact the reputation of council. He cannot say, tell lies. He has no evidence of that, and he needs to refrain from that type of language.
Thank you. Councillor Thaler, what I suggest you do is the right of reply, part of the code of meeting practice, is to reply on the debates that happen in the room. That is what you need to be replying on. Yeah. So please don't add any more new information. Just stick to the replies to the people that spoke in the actual debate.
Speak to the motion.
Yeah.
I'm also still
Just a point of order, if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Thaler. Just, Mr. Mayor, can I say you're doing a top job today? But I did hear Councillor Davis say that they were telling lies, that Councillor Thaler was telling lies. So that seemed a pretty bad accusation.
So Councillor Thaler mentioned it.
Yes.
And Councillor Davis said, please don't say that. Now, I just told Councillor Thaler to stick to the right of reply and not add any more information in to his debate.
Thank you.
That was my reply. It's not to part of the meeting, code of meeting practice is when you're doing the right of reply is to stick to the debates that you heard in the room.
Yes, giving a reply to the things you heard.
Correct.
Right, thank you.
That is what I'm asking Councillor Thaler to do, what he will continue to do.
I've read through this report and I've scribbled some various notes on. If we look at in 1, increased revenue, C, conduct a strategic review of services to assess the range and levels of services provided. Did we cut asbestos management services because we have,
Just a point of order, I'm so sorry, but I believe this needs to be a right of reply and I
Yeah.
don't believe that was part of the initial debate.
Yes, no one actually spoke about asbestos in any debate. So please stick to the right of reply, councillor Thaler.
it talks about councillors.
I understand what it talks about, but you can't keep adding new evidence in your debate. You need to do the right of reply. So reply back to what councillor Davis said, councillor Stewart said, councillor Williamson said, councillor Rose said, but don't add new information into your debate.
So question therefore, you can pause
Yes.
your little clock. I am actually
And
also
pause.
replying to the. Yeah, that's good.
Already done.
Let's
You had that opportunity. You had that opportunity in your. Sorry, councillor Thaler. You had that opportunity in your debate.
Yeah, I understand.
No, I understand that, but I'm getting accused of not following code of meeting practice, councillor Stewart. So now I want to make sure that we're following it, and you all have to follow it.
Sorry, excuse me, Mr Mayor, I'm just reading 10.20 of the Code of Meeting Practice. And it says, has the right to speak on each amendment to the motion. So I made an amendment to the motion and
Yes,
and councillor Thaler has the right to speak to my amendment.
correct. And we've passed that. We're at the right reply.
This is the wording of the right of reply.
Of your, when you amended it, councillor Thaler could debate.
It says, has the right to speak on each amendment to the motion and a right of general reply.
All observations.
To all-
To any amendments to it.
So he's allowed
Sorry,
to.
hang on. Rec, can finish the whole sentence off. Don't just read one line. Finish the whole thing, please.
Okay, each amendment to the motion and a right of general reply to
So you're on
all
10.20?
observations. Yeah.
Yep.
That are made during the debate. It says end, not ought, not only.
Yes, no, it is only
It's not, it says end.
a right of general to all observations
He has-
that are
he has-
made during the debate on the
So he's
motion.
allowed to speak
Not
on
on
the
the,
amendment of law.
yes, but he's had his right of reply now, so we're at the right of reply. So
Okay,
the
councillor-
paragraph, you're wasting a lot of time now. The right of reply during the debate in relation to the motion,
Where in the code is that?
10.20.
Don't believe that's what it says.
Do you think it's clearly in there?
Says it.
It clearly
End, it
says to all observations that are made during the debate in relation to the motion.
has the right to speak on each amendment. There's an amendment on the board.
Correct.
There's actually not an amendment on the board.
There is, I amended
It's
it.
been accepted
No.
as the original motion.
Yes.
It's not actually debating the amendment.
We're not debating the, correct. You've passed that section. You put an amendment up. He has a right of reply on that amendment. He accepted your amendment. We are now moving forward. Everybody has spoken.
I don't agree with you.
Okay, well, I appreciate you don't agree, but I'm sticking to the motion that the code of meeting practice clearly says that you need to stick to the motion. So councillor Thaler, continue. I have stopped your time, so you're at 4 minutes 14.
In making a general reply to the debate, we talked about efficiencies, lack thereof, lack of progress, and that we are distracted by a range of things that divert us from these objectives. I was indicating that failing to deal with issues raised by the community today is part of the distractions. When I look through this, there's a lot of things that we need to do. Part 4, A, we need an organisational chart. B, we don't have an organisational chart which would make B easier to achieve.
We're not sticking to the debate that was actually just conducted.
That's
I don't
fine.
know
Just
whether
stick-
we'll get through this.
We'll get through this. Councillor Thaler, stick to the, we are getting more training on this all kind of stuff for your councillors.
So I stand by the principle that I'm making a general reply to the discussion, the amendments and the to and the fro. And the written actual advice is what we're doing. So let's have a briefing so that we have a better understanding, because at the same time, it'll be a bit of a workshop. We can probably tune our response or our progress markers to what this sets out. It's very easy to see where we had recommendations and where we are falling well short. I can do that with a pencil last night at 11:30. So I commend the motion. I look forward to the briefing. I will be there. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I put the motion. All those in favour of the recommendation that's on the board. Councillor Stewart, Councillor Williamson, Councillor Higgins, Councillor Rooney, Councillor Hopkins, Councillor Thaler, Councillor Davis, Councillor Hannah. All those against? Councillor Rose and Councillor Elliott. Carried. We are moving on to 9.3.2, road naming. Moved. Thank you, Councillor
I'll second.
Hopkins and Councillor Davis, second. Councillor Hopkins, would you like to talk?
No, the name proposed is great and I think it needs to be endorsed.
Would anyone like to talk against?
No, I thought that was out by exception.
Councillor, we've gone through this a number of times now, Councillor Stewart. All those in favour?
Aye.
Hands up. Unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to 9.3.3, the road name proposal new subdivision.
Move.
Councillor Davis moving.
I'll second.
Councillor Favour second. Councillor Davis, would you like to talk on the motion?
No, speak for yourself.
Anyone like to talk against the motion?
Exception.
With that, I put the Stewart. With that, I put the motion. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to 9.3.4.
Move. Okay, sorry.
Councillor Davis moving. Second.
Chair, a very polite question.
Yes.
For the shoppers at home, would it be handy when you say a move, for example, 9.3.3, endorse the road name Carlian, I mean, something like that to help?
No, because that's not what it says on my sheet.
Exception.
I'm only reading on both these papers, so it doesn't say that. It says road name proposal, new subdivision. 9.3, here we are at 9. No, sorry, now I'm lost. We're
9.314.
9.3, oh, no, is that what we're up to? Yeah, 9.3.4. Councillor Davis and Councillor Hopkins. All Councillor Davis, would you like to talk on the motion?
No, but I think this is a really good proposal. It'd be quite beneficial to the community.
Would anyone like to talk against? No? With that, I put the motion. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to the 9.3.5, the delivery program progress report. Do I have a mover? Councillor Thaler. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Davis. Councillor Thaler, would you like to talk on the motion?
Yes, thank you. I did fire up the pencil again last night. Jindabyne Town Centre, I think we need to probably bring this maybe to our sustainability workshop. And table 1, Jindabyne Town Centre improvements, there's no date. I thought that would be well off track now because we don't really have the whole SAP structure. So I think it needs to hit the cutting room floor or we got to give it a timeline or something. Jindabyne landfill rehabilitation and capping. Again, it says the New South Wales EPA have not directed a closure date. It snuck up and we found it. But the key there is don't close the tip. So we should be very careful sometimes with what we write and recommend. I would recommend against closing the tip because if we close it, it kicks us into a massive cost exposure. We keep the tip open, we don't have to put rubbish in it, or we can actually keep it open. It would also be good for, I don't know, maybe we had a whole squadron of penguins arrive with bird flu and we have to bury them. We could at least bury them in the tip if it's open. Resource recovery needs to be updated. Develop a tourism strategy. It's kind of consequent with Professor Rose's motion. It's not so urgent compared to many other things. This actually needs a bit of workshop from council laws now to tighten it up and start to give us some better guidelines. If we look at page 58, it's got repair on Tom Grogan Road. There's a picture of before and after, and we didn't explain this to the community. We didn't actually tell the community where it was closed. We just chucked signs at each end, and then I had residents ring me saying, is it illegal for me to move the sign? If I move the sign, have I got to put it back? Is it local residents only? So again, our approach to that inconvenienced people, it indicates we need to tighten up on our procedures and our strategies and to better work with the community. There's quite a lot of then in all these other bits and pieces in the next sort of 20 odd pages. I would wonder if it's opportune for the CEO to bring this document along with the sustainability review so that
We could do
I
that.
think they might gel together or bind together and that might be handy.
Sure.
You do that, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'm sorry, no, next motion.
Do I have someone speaking against the recommendation? Councillor Rhodes.
Mr. Mayor, look, this is a challenging, I suppose, overall to look through the progress report. And there must be a way of looking at this in terms of priority areas. I've looked at it in terms of just the areas that are currently considered off track. And it looks as though there's a number of key areas off track, including tourism strategy. And then there's things that I can't understand, like develop a framework for policy and procedures to support the organisation. I don't think anyone could possibly understand what that is. And develop a compliance register. Well, a compliance with what? So there's information here that's confusing, and it's also very hard to work through. So you go through it, and I've highlighted individual situations here. It's very hard to read, but I've highlighted a whole lot of things here, which includes the Veradale Hostel that we need to have information about. So I think this could be presented a lot better, and I think it's really, really hard to make your way through. So I know this is a printout from a system, but I wouldn't really support the story of just noting this. I think we just need to improve the presentation of material in this report.
Thank you, Councillor. Do I have someone speaking for? Councillor Davis.
So it's interesting, your feedback, Councillor Rose, because what I'm hearing is you don't understand that this is a delivery plan that we're currently working towards. It will finish at the end of the financial year, and we have been having a number of briefings around our IPNR process for delivery plan and operational plan for the next 4 years. So this is 4 years worth of work. It tells us what's off track. It tells us exactly what was agreed to in our 4-year budget and what is actually highlighted in our operational plan. It's complex. Maybe there's too much in it, and if we talk to our strategic planning team, they would say there's probably too much in this plan. So that's an opportunity for us going forward. This report tells us exactly what it is that we agreed to do 4 years ago, what we've been doing each year in the operational plan for the last 4 years, and whether we've been able to achieve that or not. Yes, some things are off track. That is agreed. There are some things that are absolutely urgent that we need to put into our new delivery plan and our operational plan. But this is a system that we work with that is guided to us by legislation. So it's complex, it's clunky, the staff find it clunky, but we can make a decision about whether there's too much in it, whether we actually want to make it far more simple. Instead of being critical about it, what have we learned from the last 4 years? And it is a very long document. It is complex. And for you, it's even more complex because you haven't been involved in it for the last 4 years. So I think that the briefing would be very, very helpful. But Gina has been taking us through a step-by-step process around the IPNR process. And what I would actually ask all councillors to do is be patient until we get to the end of it. Then you actually see it all come together, and the fact that your comments and what we actually put forward in our briefing actually come into this document, and then we can slash it as we would like or change it, but the community also get to have a say on this document. So I thank the staff the amount of work that goes into it, because it's another distraction. They have to actually report against this document every month, and that takes them away from their day-to-day job. So we need to be considerate of the fact that the staff are spending a lot of time putting those reports together so we are informed as to our progress in the delivery and operational plan.
Thank you, councillor. Do I have
Mr.
someone?
Mayor, can I just ask a question?
Yes.
And thank you, councillor Davis, for just putting me in the picture. Mr. Mayor, you probably don't know, but my life's been pretty severely challenged by appearing to be against the visitor information centre. I've been vilified here in Bombala. So I want to just ask a question, really, is what's happening to the Bombala Arts and Innovation Centre? And I was very keen to see this $800,000 spent. I want you to make very strong representations to the state member. We can get this money back and get this thing done.
We have a number of times. We are still waiting. We are still waiting on a response, but it is on my list when I'm talking to him tomorrow to chase it back up.
No, that's good.
Councillor, thank you. Do I have someone speaking against the motion? No one speaking against? Councillor Taylor, would you like to write a reply?
Thank you. I appreciate the remarks of Councillor Davis, and I think there's a qualification that's useful in that regard, that some of the staff's job is actually this. That is their day-to-day job. So to sort of indicate that staff are being distracted by this process, or we actually have staff whose job is this process. So we are working with them. I have actually enjoyed the briefings and I've learned quite a lot. It's good to see where we are, and one of my strong recommendations to people is the best way to understand the future is to study the past. And so we're doing that. My remarks to this are that it needs a bit of an update and it needs a bit of a red pen. No disrespect to the staff, but I think we need to put out the red pen and the pencil. So that's what I'm commending. That's what I'm recommending. We need to get on with that.
Sorry. Just to clarify, that's not what you're recommending. You're recommending to note the delivery program report.
And to incorporate it into the sustainability.
Oh, okay. Sorry, workshop.
We haven't
Sorry,
made it
yes,
necessary.
sorry, you're right. Sorry, Councillor Taylor, you are
So
right.
we can note it.
Yeah.
But we also have a bit of a limit.
Sorry, you are right. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Can I record that?
I apologise.
You said I was right. So I will put the motion to everybody. I think we're well around it. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, all those in favour? Councillor Stuart, unanimous. Thank you.
I'd like to move the next motion, Mr. Chair.
9.3.6, performance improvement order. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Councillor Davis, Councillor Taylor, 5 minutes.
Just a small point, Mr. Mayor, in terms of the resolution action sheets,
Yes,
was that no?
we're not up to that yet.
That's later on.
Yeah, that's after this one. That's
Okay.
9.5.1.
Yeah, we're on to the.
We're on 9.3.6 on page 120. Councillor Taylor.
Thank you.
I'm going to actually propose to change the recommendation and that council direct the CEO to withdraw the report. So that's what I would like to see put up on the board. And then I'll explain why. You can hit pause and we'll withdraw the report.
I don't accept that.
Sorry, I just need to clarify, to withdraw a report. I don't understand how you.
I won't change the motion. I've moved it, but I want to change it so that we withdraw the report. I'm happy to explain it and be accountable to this proposal. We do not have clear knowledge of what's in the report. What we've been given suffers severe reductions.
Yeah, I don't actually think you can actually withdraw a report. So I'm just trying to work out how we do that, Councillor Taylor. So could you just give me a second before you debate us?
It's just amending the motion. You can't withdraw the report that's already in front of us. You can't make it invisible now, can you?
That's what I mean, like you can't withdraw the report.
At law, you can ask to withdraw remarks and you can actually ask.
We're not at law.
To withdraw. I mean, the fact that he's read it is immaterial. We ask to withdraw it because it should be submitted. If I go to the
Debate, can we actually get what?
If I may, I think I need to clarify because I think Councillor Taylor is talking about the report sent to the Minister, whereas the responses from the councils are indicating they're talking
in the business paper.
Sorry, I propose to withdraw the report that was submitted to the minister. Sorry, not this report. Sorry.
Okay,
Right.
I withdraw
Sorry, I
the
was just-
report to the minister. Thank you.
sorry, I was just really lost for a second there. So I understand what you're
I'm
saying.
still lost.
Wait, 'cause-
What are we talking about?
So councillor Thaler wants to withdraw the report that we sent to the minister.
That's what I understand
That's
councillor
what you
Taylor
understand.
is now proposing.
The CEO sent the minister. I didn't send the report.
Sorry,
I didn't send it.
I didn't say you did.
I did.
CEO sent it, right?
Yes, I didn't say councillor Williams
Yes.
sent it.
He said
And I sent councillors a redacted version of that.
sent it.
And then presenting to the public is a summary. That's the process.
That we're debating this stuff.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, because that is opposite to the actual motion. How do you do that? You can't put a,
So, do you want to?
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
sorry, I get what you're saying, but I'm just going to see if it's actually.
Technically, and this is a thing a lot of councillors fall into, first up, you should move what you want as the original motion rather than move the motion that's, or the recommendation, staff recommendation. Because once you have a motion up there and someone seconded it, then you've got to withdraw that motion and put up your new motion. So in the first instance, normally just put up what it is you want to move as your starting point.
Well, thank you for the assistance. That's why I'm happy to note the report, but I wanted to add the line in there. So I've moved the motion and I want to change the motion by adding a line in. So it's still the original motion that council note the details on the report.
Part A, part B.
But we're getting there. That's what we were sort of workshopping, that we would add a part B, that council withdraw the report sent to the minister. Then there'll be a part C.
See where he goes with it first.
Okay. All right, councillor Davis, are you supporting that?
No,
Okay, so let me,
because I
I-
don't have any visibility
Yeah.
in regard to what council is actually talking about. And if the report's already been sent to the minister, what are we going to withdraw? Crazy.
Well, I can answer the question in a sense. What we would be withdrawing is the report that we sent. Now, it doesn't stop the minister from having read it, but the point is we would seek to withdraw it, and I think we have a legal basis. If we go to the...
Let's get a second. Can we take
let's get a
away-
second.
Would you like to withdraw your second? And
Yeah,
I'll get a new second.
she has said that,
Oh,
yes.
a new seconder?
So, sorry, let me just do one thing at a time, please, councillor Taylor. You're not on time, so just
I
relax.
seem to be the man.
I understand what you're trying to do, but I'm just trying to get this right. So councillor Davis has withdrawn. Does someone want a second councillor Thaddeus motion to note?
I'm happy to see where he's going.
Okay.
Let's go.
No, that's okay.
And then I propose a C, which will be a new report.
Not say that.
A preemptive.
Oh,
You might have to resume it, right?
you'll do.
Whatever he wants. So,
Councillor, what's point C?
That a new report in compliance with the order is submitted. Now, this is where I think it's going to be tricky, but I wanted debate or a legal clarification. But when I read the PIO from the minister, it says at the end, I was trying to find the page number, but I got the weird version that doesn't have a page number. So it's one of the last pages. Reporting in compliance with this order pursuant to section 438 capital F of the Act, I, the minister, require that council, big C, to provide me with the following reports on compliance with this order within the timeframe specified. 1, a report on compliance with actions 1 through 8. 2, a report on compliance with actions 1 through 13. And 3, a final report on the implementation in December. The big question is, we didn't provide the report. We are the council. We're the big C council. CEO is employed by us, and the report has gone to the minister. We haven't seen all of what it says. I understand the legal trickiness around if there are codes of conduct commented on, you're not meant to talk about them. But then the problem is it's not our report. We didn't write it and we didn't see it before it was sent. At law, I believe the minister has directed us. He says, I require the council, us, to send the report. And it wasn't sent by us. It wasn't sent with our knowledge. It wasn't sent with our direction or our consent or approval. So that's the problem.
It's why you've requested what you requested. Councillor Williamson, you're happy with that?
Sure.
All right. Councillor Thaler.
Thank you. covered some of the debate in my remarks, but if anyone's interested, if we go to the Minister's order, and this is a lawful direction made pursuant to the Act, section 438 capital F. I don't want to fall foul of not having complied with the Minister's order. And when I look as best as I can research, when you're referring to the council, big C, that is us. We are the governance, we are the people who direct it, we are the people who are responsible for it and on behalf of the community. But this is a report that has gone out. I think we should withdraw it. I don't think it actually is a fair characterisation of the conduct of our time. The fact that what we have as council, as the governance, we can't even see some of what's been said. That's a danger to us. It's very foolish. I'm not undermining what the CEO has attempted to do, but if we all cast our mind back to the previous month, we did recommend, and I thought we undertook to find, is there an external consultant that we could engage to remove all perceptions of bias or in sort of inherent undertones? We should have handed it off to an independent person and say, there's our material, our meetings, our emails, whatever. These people are around. I'm sure there are professionals out there. They prepare the report. They would submit the report to us for our endorsement, and we would send it then through to the Minister in compliance and fulfilment of his order. I just think that what we have allowed to happen has happened without our knowledge. It is quite dangerous to us as a council. And whilst we are striving to do our best to work together and to address the issues, having ourselves suspended or placed into administration or subject to a public inquiry, we need to avoid those things as our obligation to the community. Whilst there might be some voices raised and there might be some crazy points of order and there might be a range of argy-bargy, but that is what reasonable debate is. I invite everyone to watch the Parliament. Better, go to the Parliament and watch it. It's awful. We're not at that level. We are not actually at that level. We are coming together, believe it or not. We are coming together. So we need to comply with what the Minister said. We need to be mindful of what goes into the report so that we can own it. Because at the moment, I'm not going to own that report, didn't write it, didn't see it, don't agree with it. So I think that what we need to do is comply with the Minister's direction as he wrote it.
Councillor Thaler, I just want to correct, just to point your attention to page 120 of the business paper. It clearly says that that we don't have the resources required to undertake the necessary reviews of the assessment, and the CEO has indicated that we need to engage an external assistant to prepare all the reports in the future. So he's actually already said that needs to happen. So I just want to give you that feedback that is already happening.
Thank you.
I can give you an update on that as well, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry, that might have been our report to the Minister. We'll hear and see what you say, but we are organising resources and we're seeking a person to write the report in fulfilment of your order. That might have been the report.
Yes, it is in that actual, but it's in the actual business paper today saying moving forward, it will be external people doing this because we don't have the resources. So just to clarify, it will all be that moving forward.
And we have engaged somebody to do that.
Councillor Davis against the motion? Or were you asking a question?
I can't quite believe what I'm hearing. This councillor Saylor's speaking to the motion. The only reason
Point of order, we don't need ridiculous remarks that are sleight of hands. If you want to insult me properly. It's not appropriate that I get pulled up on this. It has to be equal in the chamber or it's all gloves off. I'm happy to go to the code of meeting practice for another snide remark.
Councillor Davis, please speak to the motion.
So the only, I try very hard to comply with the PIO every day. The only reason we actually have a PIO on us is because whilst there may be reasonable behaviour in a council meeting, outside of the council meeting, there are so many breaches of the code of conduct.
Point of order, that is an extreme mischaracterisation. There are no breaches because there are no findings upheld. As somebody that apparently has 18 complaints, one's been withdrawn.
Councillor
There
Taylor.
are no findings against me.
Councillor Taylor. Continue.
Did I mention?
No, you did not.
You did, you said there are breaches of, and there are no breaches because
If
nothing's been
you
proven.
want to close
Councillor
it,
Taylor.
you go for it, but I did not mention anybody's name, and
No, she
please
did.
stop interrupting me. This report has been done as a first report and is done on the best information that the council staff have in front of them. It's actually quite enlightening that the fact that we continue to have breaches of the PIO, which is a real concern, because I know a number of councillors are trying really, really hard to make sure we comply with the PIO. And it's really important that we do comply with the PIO for the community's benefit. And I would love nothing more than for us to work together and be respectful of the staff, respectful of the fact they have a huge workload and we do not have a lot of resources to actually work with. And it's very good to actually criticise, but we need to actually be supporting our system and our staff to be able to do the job that we want them to do. So that the report has been sent to the minister. Withdrawing the report is just crazy. He can't remove something that's already in his hands. All we can do is to make sure that our next report is more comprehensive against the request in regard to the reporting of the PIO. And the CEO has actually indicated that he will put more resources into it. But at the moment, the CEO is trying to grapple with getting extra resources for a number of things. So this is just another one of those. So I would actually implore everybody to work together and that we actually conform with the PIO and we stop trying to undermine each other in this process. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have someone speaking for the recommendation? Yeah. Councillor Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The motion of Councillor Thaler has the advantage of simplicity, which I like. So I think that's very helpful. I had an alternative that I was going to propose, but my alternative really was along the lines that the report sent to OLG was not prepared independently and has no validity. And so I suppose I support this motion because I think, unfortunately, I understand with the best intention, people have prepared a report, but there is no way that this could have been done by any council staff member independently and without a priori assumptions. And so because you actually bring bias to any assessment you make, and because the minister himself has set the actual the point as being a reasonable person, that is from a reasonable person, then it's very hard to find a reasonable person in the council because they come, those council staff members come with various assumptions. So I think there's this invalidity in the report. I've spent my life doing statistics and looking at methodology of those, and I think that this report has got some a priori assumptions which are really dangerous. And I thank the interim CEO for organising an independent person. I think there are some significant issues in the report that we have here before us, and I think they just should be removed. The behaviour being undertaken is considered to possibly lead, this is on page 120, to impacts of a level requiring psychological treatment as there was a pattern of ongoing and targeted attack. Now, I mean, I didn't know that there were people in the council writing this report that had psychological qualifications. There's also, it's known, it says, that Snowy Mountain Council meetings are used as examples of what not to do. So how is that known? So there are just very inflammatory statements in this report which show that there's an a priori assumption that there are issues. So I support Councillor Thaler's motion because I think we're noting the details, but I think the report needs to be withdrawn just on the basis that it's actually invalid. It hasn't been prepared independently. It has been prepared with a lot of a priori assumptions, and it's got quite a lot of contentious issues that I think are not independent. I've just shown a couple of those, but in the bigger letter, there were, but I mean, it is alleged, basically there's a level of requiring psychological treatment. It says, not alleged, the behaviours being undertaken are considered to possibly lead to a level requiring psychological treatment. Well, it's a dangerous thing in the report when I don't think there's any psychologist that has assessed this. And there's also, it is known. So how is that known? That certainly hasn't been made available to us. So I think the report needs to be withdrawn. I think a new report needs to be done, and I think it probably needs to have the same data put before the independent person to say, look, to the minister, we did the best we could in the time we had to provide this report, but unfortunately we found some errors in the way we approached it, and here's the same report done by an independent person. So I think that would be a very reasonable approach, and so I support what Councillor Fowler has proposed here.
Thank you, Councillor. Is someone speaking against the motion? Councillor Hopkins.
Look, I'd actually like to foreshadow a motion as well,
Yes.
which is the original officer's recommendation that council note the details on the report.
Thank you.
In speaking against the motion, I'm actually going to paraphrase or borrow a phrase from Councillor Rose, which is that we can't be seen to be marking our own homework, which is what we seem to be suggesting that we should be doing. The report on items 1 to 8 are based on councillor behaviour. I don't believe it's councillor's job to be, or, the role of council to be writing that report, councillors to be writing that report.
I'm sorry, can I object to that characterisation? The motion does not propose councillors write the report. It is an independent person. So it's,
And we've said
No,
that.
I thought that you mentioned that the council would be endorsing
we
the
would,
report.
we wouldn't have a choice. We would endorse the report and saying, yes, this is our report.
We shouldn't do that at all.
We can't write it, but we have to, it says we must submit.
We're committee.
Councillor, we are in debate.
I'm happy to continue. I won't speak for too long, but my understanding of endorsing is saying that this is something that we agree with. Now, we can debate that later, but that's my understanding of the phrase endorse, is that is something that we endorse, that is something that we agree with. That comes back to us marking our own homework. I cannot speak more strongly against this original motion, and I just like to leave my foreshadowed motion there in the event that this is not supported.
Thank you. Do I want someone speaking for the recommendation?
Can I just seek a clarification,
Yes.
please?
You can ask a question. There's no clarifications in the code of meeting practice.
What precisely did the POI say about the preparation and sending of a report?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it wasn't specific at all. It just said that reports would be provided, one on items 1 to 8 in the within the first month, and then reports on a monthly basis for items 1 to 13.
But how did it come about that a report was written and sent to the minister that didn't first come to councillors to consider?
Through discussions, through you, Mr. Mayor, through discussions with the Deputy Secretary, Brett Whitworth, who addressed the councillors in that briefing before the deadline to sign your undertakings. So the discussion was that other councils that are providing reports on performance improvement orders, one being Windsor Carriby, the other being Kiama that was spoken of directly in that conversation, was that those reports come from the General Manager, but not via the council. They don't require a resolution of the council to submit the report. It's a report from the General Manager.
So the Secretary directed...
No, he didn't. The discussion was that that's how other councils are doing it. There was no direction on the format of it. So I followed the procedure that the other councils on performance improvement orders are following. Yep. And it was also then discussed that a version of that report, because of the difficulties associated with the confidentiality of code of conduct matters, that I couldn't present anything either publicly or to the councillors that provided specific details of code of conduct matters, where those things are provided in my report to the Minister.
Did you seek advice from the other councils as to the content they put in their reports?
In one case I did.
Thank you.
In one case that I spoke to, then that person wasn't even providing anything to the council or the councillors.
Question, thank the CEO for his information. Did he get any of that information in writing that he could then share with council?
No.
Thank you.
Second question, can you urgently clarify that advice in writing? Because effectively what we could have here is the secretary directing us to do something different to what the minister actually put in his instrument. This is an instrument that we shouldn't be seeking to vary or go under or around or above. Secretary does not have more power than the minister. So is that appropriate? Can you get urgent written advice from the secretary or the minister himself confirming that the arrangement that you have been verbally given is appropriate?
Mr. Mayor, I'm quite comfortable with the advice that the Deputy Secretary has provided to me, and I followed that advice from detailed discussions.
Thank you. Councillor Stewart, did you have your hand?
I'll speak.
Could I just add
against
an
the
amendment then, Mr. Mayor, to this motion?
Yes.
Point D, and that the interim CEO be asked to get urgent advice from the Deputy Secretary of OLG
It would be the minister. Councillor Rose, it would be from the minister to confirm that the secretary could give that.
get urgent advice from the Minister that the verbal advice given by the Deputy Secretary
You won't know what it was. So, could I suggest that we simply ask the Minister to tell us what he'd like in a report?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's quite broad in terms of verbal advice.
Yeah, just who knows what was said.
I suppose, Mr. Mayor, just at the heart of this story, it's very clear Mr. Dunshay's got some verbal advice. We're taking a determination as a council, and we're assuming that the material sent is from the council, yet we don't have the material to know the written advice about what the format is required for the report. So we're sort of jumping through a hoop that we just don't know what it is. And so we just don't have the information. So somehow we need to get written advice.
So written advice on, just to help, I think you're trying to ask, you want the written advice of why the CEO or the interim CEO writes the report and sends it without coming to council?
No, what should go in the report?
What should go in the report is in the PIO.
Yes, I think the advice.
You're overthinking that because what goes in the report is part of the PIO. There is sections in there that council needs to report on from 1 to 8, correct me if I'm wrong because I'm just saying this, for the first month, and then 1 to 13 or 2 to 13 every month after that. That is what the PIO says. So it actually tells you what you need to report on.
Sure.
So when we can't clarify what we need to report on.
No, I think if I can just clarify, I think I think this is a very key issue because we're sending a report on behalf of council with a big C, which includes us. We haven't previously seen.
We can't mark out our homework.
No,
That's the point.
That's the whole point. You are, because you're going to get the report and then you'll go, no, I don't believe I didn't say that. So then that's marking your homework.
No.
Maybe ask a question that might help to answer Councillor Rose's question. I just have a question though. I understand the copy that we received of the report was on the 13th of March from the CEO. So I presume that report was sent up to the Minister on or around the 13th of March.
Yeah, the same day.
Is that right? So that's 7 days. Have we had any indication from either the Minister or the Office of Local Government in that time that the format or the content or the way it was done was not?
No, we haven't. Nothing. We haven't had an acknowledgement at all.
So I guess where my issue is with
Have you?
your motion
Yes.
is,
Sorry, Mr. Rawlings got an update that
The officer dealing with just said that the information is good, it helps them, and we're going, as we talked to them and said, we need to have a meeting with you, now you've got the first report, and ask whether that's meeting your requirements, so.
So we may be stressing over something we don't need to be stressing over.
Hmm.
Thanks.
Well, they haven't indicated they have a problem at this stage.
Thank you.
can I just think, like, can I just get the motion? I just want to make sure this, let me just read it in my head. That the interim CEO asked the urgent calls, the deputy secretary, that
I want to speak against the motion.
correct.
Yes.
Yeah, we need that, you can't.
That's where we're up to, aren't we? You've had-
I think I need to modify that.
Well, yeah, we can ask that, but yeah. Anyway, Councillor Stewart, you are against?
Yeah, I was.
Or, germane to the debate, question. This might assist. Can the CEO explain his reasoning in the report that he wrote at item 1? It says council CEO received 8 signed undertaking and has been advised by the Office of Local Government that all councillors have signed undertaking. Our record indicate non-compliance to varying extents with the order of the following councillors. And there's a big black box with some names allegedly in it.
Yes.
How can it be that there is non-compliance with the order when the minister said, please sign and return to me, and we've got evidence that all of the undertakings have been signed? Yes.
those paragraphs are not consecutive relating to the same topic. One is, the first paragraph is about the submissions of the undertaking. The other is in relation to the matters of non-compliance by particular councillors relating to items 2 to 8.
Thank you.
I will further clarify because that's
Cannot clarify.
All
Can clarify.
One
Question.
It is a question.
Yes.
We're going to get to the bottom of this. 1, all councillors enter into an undertaking in the form specified in Schedule 3 to be provided to me within 7 days of the service of the order. I require all councillors to comply with that undertaking. It limits it to signing the order, full stop. It says here, council CEO received 8 signed undertakings and has been advised by the office that all councillors have signed. So if all councillors have signed, how can you go on to say our records indicate non-compliance to varying extents with the order? This is all in item 1's discussion by the following councillors. And there's some names redacted. It says.
Is your sorry, councillor?
Clarify.
No, sorry.
I repeat again, Mr.
Sorry.
Mayor.
Can I just pause everybody for a second?
Yep.
There is no such thing as clarifications in the code of meeting practice.
Question 2.
Okay, so a question needs to be respectful. Respectful, clear, and there's one more word that's not in front of me at the moment. Direct, snipped, and respectful without argument. Ask the question. You are not arguing or debating it. The question is the question. You get the question answer, we're moving on. You cannot debate the answer.
So I've asked a question.
Stick to the code of meeting practice,
I'm
councillor.
happy to answer the question, Mr. Mayor. I understand the question.
There's one more sentence. The majority, 72%, of the identified behaviours assessed as breaching the performance order relate to redacted. The next highest portion came from redacted at 18%. The question is, how can you breach Order 1 and have a report saying there is a breach of Order 1 when everybody signed the PIO indicating 100% compliance with Order 1?
Mr. Mayor, I thought I answered that question if I wasn't clear enough, but those statistics in that second paragraph is not related to Order 1.
It is.
Order 1, no, I'm telling, if there's a grammatical error in my letter, then I apologise, but paragraph 1 says that I received 8 and the minister, the ILG told me everybody signed. Finished. End of item 1.
That's not what it
For
says.
the rest of the items, well, there might be a grammatical error.
Councillor Taylor.
It goes on to say item 2.
Councillor Taylor.
So the question
They
is,
are pretty good.
We answered your question. Moving on. Councillor Stewart.
Yeah.
I can actually help you.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
if ever I've
5
seen,
minutes left.
if ever I've seen people want to self-destruct is what I've been listening to today.
Yeah.
Like, keep it simple, councillors. We've had we've had a report go to the minister, and I haven't been involved in this sort of rubbish and that stuff before, but we're in this situation. Councils, we've got to respect the situation we're in. And the minister hasn't put it on us for no reason, because for the powers to be that they think we need to be improved. I wouldn't agree with the minister, but that's his prerogative. But he's given us a process to go through. The general manager's taken that on for the first time. We've got to send in a report. We can't dissect that report. That report's got to be independent. As councillors, we can't go and get a report read and we read it before it goes away. But that, I'd be very surprised if that's how the minister is putting this process in place. I could be very wrong, but I'd be very surprised if he wanted us to be formulating a report from councils going to him. I think he'd be wanting an independent report that they look at the council meeting and do the review and send the report away. I don't know. I'm only pretty simple sort of a bloke. But we're self-destructing. Keep it simple. This is not a big, it's part of the process. We're trying to dissect this down too much. Yes, the report's been done. The general manager said he's got an independent person who's going to take over from here on in. We're on the right track. Just do it. And then this putting into withdraw the report, I think is you're self-destructing if you go down that path. You don't want to have a job at all. So, you know, well, we're in this position. The report's been done. I don't think there'd be, you know, an 11. I don't know the report, but it's been done in the proper process. We just got to do it. We can't. Well, I just can't think as councils that we can get a report and then have a look at it before it goes to the minister. I don't think that would be the process the ministers want. I'd be very surprised if that's the case. We've got to hopefully the report is fair, and if the report is not handled properly, and we've got recordings to come back and say, well, this bloke was biased or something. But I don't think we can interfere with this report. I'd be very surprised if we can. I think where the general manager's done has been a pretty fair job.
Thank you, Councillor Stewart. Councillor Thayer, question.
I have a question. When we prepare financial reports ahead of submitting them to the auditor, are they brought to us for us to then submit to the auditor? Is that the process?
Formally they are, but informally no. But the process is that the accounts are referred to the auditor. The auditors come in, but they're to undertake the work because the work that's required is extensive. So that the auditors get a copy of the reports. They're doing their work before the auditors sign off. From a practical perspective, we then present that to council, seeking council resolution to formally refer them for audit.
And it's a follow-up question. Councillors don't then edit that report, they don't modify that report, they basically see it and submit it formally as the Big C Council. That's correct?
Generally, yes.
Thank you. Does someone want to speak for the recommendation?
Mr. Mayor, can I just make a modification? I think it's point D is just too hard to get right, so I think just remove it.
Councillor Thayer? Councillor Thayer, would
CEO be asked to get urgent advice. I think that the interim CEO
yes or no?
clarifies the verbal advice, because that's the point here. Was that verbal advice?
Sorry, you want to say that the interim CEO
clarifies the verbal advice from the DepSec.
We'll put it to a vote.
Councillor, thank you.
We're urgent now.
And councillor, I'll move that we put that motion put to a vote.
Okay, we'll put in the motion. Hang on.
You can go, got to go and see whether they want it.
Yeah, I know that. I know
I'll
that.
go back. If that loses, I'll just go back to the original.
Correct. All right. no one else is going to, we're going to put the motion. So I had councillor Davis and councillor Stewart.
Put the motion.
Put the motion.
A motion to put the motion.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I'll move that we put the motion.
Yes, I understand that. That's what I'm getting on the board. Yes, you have. Councillor Davis,
Davis.
second. All those in favour to, oh, sorry. Are you good? All those in favour to put the motion? Councillor Stewart, Councillor Williamson, Councillor Higgins, Councillor Rooney, Councillor Hopkins, Councillor Davis, Councillor Hannah. All those against to put the motion? Councillor Rose, Councillor Elliott and Councillor Thaler. The motion has been put. Councillor Thaler, you have your 5 minutes to write a reply.
So it's evident in the discussion that maybe my interpretation of the report as submitted might not be correct. There's some difficulty in reading what was actually submitted. The problem with this, as the people responsible for the council, is that there is now something done in our name that we don't know what it fully says, irrespective of whether or not it talks about codes of conduct. And remember, let's go back to the beginning. There's an allegation of 19 codes of conduct raised against me. That's
Point of order, and not speaking to the motion and not speaking to the debate. We're now bringing in the personal agenda in regard to this motion.
Councillor Thaler, stick to the right of reply. As we've gone through in the previous motion, the right of reply. No one mentioned your name.
well, I'm allowed to mention my own.
No, you did not mention your name in the, so you cannot talk about it in the right of reply.
I've watched a lot of council meetings in the years and I have never seen such ridiculous, pedantic attention to detail to try to stymie a debate, to prevent things from being said. And that's what this really comes down to. And that's what this all turns on. Who said this? It's apparently said in our name and we're not entitled to know what it says, or a large amount of it. The point is, even in law, if you make a submission, you can actually withdraw the submission and a magistrate or a judge will actually then remove it from the evidence
Point
stack.
of order, not speaking to the motion, not summation. There is not a summation on the debate that's been held. We
So-
cannot talk about the.
Councillor Thaler, again, stick to the right of reply.
So part of the reason why we have lots of codes of conduct is because of points of order, baseless points of order.
Councillor
I
Thaler,
brought these,
stick to the right of reply, please.
I am,
You're
and
not.
I'm the one that opened it and I'm talking generally, if you look at the code of meeting practice. The idea to withdraw the report is so that we can have a proper, fair and impartial report put in, because everybody has a wildly different apprehension of what's actually going on. So that's the heart of this. I don't think people really respect that around this table. We're all watching our watches. We want to get out of here. I'm happy to queue on a midnight because I'm here for the community. I want to get this right. I want the minister to be able to look through all the rubbish that he's been told and actually say, what's really going on down there? Apparently he's coming down to talk to you about how to run a meeting. No, I didn't put that in the debate earlier. Why is that okay to say all of a sudden?
Point of order, and we're going to get into an act of disorder in regard to insults.
Oh,
It's
It's not an insult.
I will, sorry, Councillor Williamson, don't breach. Do not interrupt.
Okay.
Councillor Thaler, stick. This will be the third time. If you do not continue, I'm just going to put the motion and move forward.
Well, this is the problem as well. It's what you want and not what anyone else. It's supposed to be a team. This is not a report that I agree with. This is not a report that I accept. This is not a report sent here with my consent. And this is not a report that paints me in a very nice light. I'm not an idiot.
Act of disorder. This, the councillor Thaler
Sorry.
has insulted.
Sorry,
Say,
Councillor Williamson,
personal
stop
remarks.
interrupting.
And
won't tell you
gives
again.
the Proper
Councillor,
notice to any other council official and alleges to breach of code of conduct. So this can't continue.
Councillor Thaler, nowhere in the report it mentions names. So you can't say it's all about you.
I didn't say it was all about
You
me.
said it.
Didn't say it was all about
But
me.
you mentioned it's, you know,
I'm in
on
it.
you.
I'm in it. I can
One more
see through the
time.
black lines. So
Yeah, you must have better eyes than me, but it's not there.
I do. I might know how long my name is. So the issue is, if you're happy to put this report into the minister without seeing it, then can I borrow your checkbook? Because we're writing blank checks. We don't know what has been said. We don't know what's going to come. We should not be flying blind. And to correct the characterisation, I'm not suggesting that we get the independent report and we edit it. We have no editorial function on the report. It's that the minister directed in his order that Big C Council provide the report, not the CEO, us. So it should be through us. We can get it and it might say, you're all ugly and stupid. We submit it, right? We can't change it, but we stand by it and we know that's what it said. That's the point. So happy to put the motion. If you vote it down, that's a matter to you.
Thank you. With that, no, we've had a right reply.
So active disorder.
Oh.
Councillor Saylor's last part of his reply actually threatens us in regard to if we're putting these reports. It is not on. We can't continue to have that language in this council meeting. It's not acceptable.
I agree. I agree. Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. I think there's some, obviously, I didn't hear anything that was an active disorder. So there's obviously a difference in view.
Yeah. We've had a right reply. We're going to put the motion. All those in favour of the recommendation that's on the board. Councillor Rose, Councillor Williamson, Councillor Elliott, Councillor Thaler. All those against. Councillor Stewart, Councillor Higgins, Councillor Rooney, Councillor Hopkins, Councillor Davis, Councillor Hannah. 6. Motion lost. We go into the foreshadow motion. That is to put the original motion up for Councillor Hopkins, I think, move that. Thank you. Hang on. We'll just get this on. So we're going back to the original motion. Councillor Hopkins, did you want to debate it?
Look, there's not much that I need to say. I feel we've talked about this a lot. The report has been sent. It is in line with the directive of the Performance Improvement Order. I hope that all councillors support this motion.
Thank you. Anyone speaking against? Councillor Thaler.
Well, I rise to speak against. I stand on most of my arguments that I made before. You want to note the report, and the report suffers from heavy redaction. So what are you actually noting? You need to open your mind up a bit to what is really going on here.
Thank you. Anyone like to talk for the motion? Anyone like to talk against? Councillor Hopkins, would you like a report?
No, thank you.
I'll speak for the motion.
Okay, sure. Councillor.
Yeah, no, well, I've already spoken, but look, I honestly think if we've just got to take a deep breath here and this process is probably not a big thing in the whole scheme of things, but if we've already set the report in and then withdraw it, I think you're going to do yourself more reputation than not. Now we've got a process in place where we're going to have an independent person do the report for us. I just think that although I don't agree with what the minister has done to the council and our community, we've still got to abide by. And if that's the case, we've got to go down. This is one of the paths we've got to go. And I think we'd be very foolish to, after the report's already gone or down there, to say we're going to withdraw it. I think we're just throwing fuel on the fire. So I know there's councillors that are concerned about that, but that's where I'm coming from, and I think it's just that we're in this situation. We've got to do it the best we can, and with the backing to the, we've got to try to work through this thing and keep bringing the community on side to get through it, and this is just part of the process. So, as I said, I'd be very concerned if we went that other way of withdrawing the report once you send it in. I think that wouldn't be very advantageous to the council for the minister for him making his decision in the near future. So that's why I've supported the board.
Thank you, councillor. Someone speaking against? Councillor Rose.
Look, Mr. Mayor, it's getting late and I don't want to draw things out, but this is actually a pretty crucial issue for us to get right. And Councillor Stewart may be confused because there's not this motion is about withdrawing the report, it's just about noting the details. Now, the problem with that is that in effect it's accepting the validity of the report, the way it was put together and the findings, which I believe are incorrect. Now, as I said, there's a priori assumptions. If you go into any statistical analysis with a priori assumptions, you've got problems for a start. So there's no statistical validity. There's no independent person. There's no reasonable person that's presented this, produced this report. It's been done, I'm sure, with the very best of intentions, but with inherent bias, you can't get away from it. If you've got wrong methodology, you've got wrong outcomes. Councillor Thaler is 100% correct about his story of governance. This is a report from Big C Council, so it does come from us, yet we've got a report that no one has seen the full extent of. So it's a very dangerous thing for us just to accept a report that we actually don't know the details of. And I think it's actually failing in our governance responsibilities, because what we've done is to note a report that we don't even know what it says. So we're in a difficulty. We've got, firstly, wrong methodology. So there's a wrong methodology to start with. There's a range of assumptions that have been made that are incorrect. And then there's issues that are arising from that make it very hard to get an assessment for us as councillors, because we're the governance body that actually is submitting a report to the minister. In effect, we don't know what it says. So I don't think we can just note the details, and for certain we need to get some further advice about what councillors can see, because, you know, Councillor Thaler is right that we're basically signing a blank cheque. We've got a whole lot of redacted material we don't know, but we are the governance group responsible. So we need legal advice about this, because I think all we're relying on, unfortunately, is Mr. Dunshay's...
In regard to the blank cheque. At no time are we talking about money. In regard to that comment around blank cheque, either it is a threat or it actually needs to be clearly defined, but it's not actually within the report. We're not talking about any financial impact. So if we're talking about blank cheque, what are we talking about?
Thank you, Councillor Davis. I'm just in the middle of my speech, and I appreciate your story. This was just a term. I'm not suggesting there's any financial implications. What I am suggesting, though, is that we as councillors cannot provide a report, and basically that's what we're doing. It's a report coming from Big C Council, governing body of council, that we don't know what is in it. And we're relying on verbal advice obtained by the interim CEO. I'm sure the advice he's giving us is correct, but we don't know what it says. And as you know, Mr. Dunshay, the verbal advice isn't worth the paper it's written on. So we're in a difficulty from that. So everyone's doing their best to fulfill this, but I think there's a problem for us, because there's been assumptions made, there's been wrong methodology, and then when we come to the heart of the report, we've got blanked out material that we're endorsing. In effect, we're noting without anything else being available to us. And we've got, I think, a report sent in our name that we don't know what it is. So those, I agree with Councillor Stewart, your point's right. The report's gone, it's too late. The truck of lambs has gone to Wagga. Can't call them back because the prices have dropped. So I understand the point, but I think this is quite important for us to get right for the next point. I appreciate the fact that Mr. Dunshaz has found an independent person to do the next range of reports, and I think it's really excellent. But I just can't support the fact that we just don't in the details of the report. So I think we should vote against it.
Thank you.
The motion be put.
Just some clarification, Councillor. So this report has been sent down, hasn't it? Yeah, that had to meet the point.
Yes, that's correct.
So with the independent person, do we get to see that report before it goes next time or not?
That's not the intention, no. The same process would happen, but it's just being written by somebody else. Or the assessment, sorry, the assessment of behaviours and review of meetings will be done by somebody else.
I've had a motion be put, so do I have a seconder for that? Thank you, Councillor Hopkins. All those in favour to put the motion? Councillor Stewart, Councillor, everybody but Councillor Thaler. This is a motion. All those against? Councillor Thaler? Councillor Hopkins, would you like a right reply?
No, thank you. There's been sufficient time.
Excellent. I put the motion. All those in favour of the recommendation that's on the board? Councillor Stewart, Councillor Higgins, Councillor Rooney, Councillor Hopkins, Councillor Davis, Councillor Hannah. All those against? Councillor Williamson, Councillor Rose, Councillor Elliott and Councillor Thaler. Motion carried. Councillors, we've gone over our 5 hours, so part of 18.3, I'm adjourning the meeting and I'm deferring all future, the rest of this meeting until the next, I'm closing the meeting and deferring everything else for next meeting next month.
Very good.
Thank you.
Next month.
Sorry, Chris, what do you mean, the next?
Next meeting is where this meeting be. We're not having a Victoria meeting, but everything until the next.